Altcoins, very simply, coiling like they've never coiled before. What that means for an altcoin bull run that I know many of you are just waiting for patiently. And frankly, what we see here on these altcoin charts is something we've never seen before. I want to break it down for you. Ethereum on the zoomed out weekly, I spotted something that I don't think I spotted before in terms of this multi-year triangle that we've been talking about. I'm excited about it because what it does is it brings into play a shorter term signal for the altcoin bull market. Many of you know I use Ethereum personally as kind of this roadmap for altcoins. I want to discuss what I'm seeing here. ADA on the monthly, zoomed out, talk about coiling, and I want to take a glance at the ADA Cardano daily charts as well. So please hit the subscribe, hit that like on the way in. If you are not in our Crypto Capital Venture Intelligence System, we have a 40% sale. Click the link below. We have proprietary, custom tools, indicators, risk models back there designed to help you win, especially in a bull market. So make sure you get back there, check it out. So I want to start right here. This is really an illustration of coiling. It is just, and you think about the story here, right? You remember last bull cycle, if you were here, the top, right into a bear cycle, bear market, crazy fear going on there with all the collapses of all the, crypto companies, FTX, Celsius, everything. But I just want to put something into mind. This is years of redistribution, reaccumulation. It's years of just rotation of so much capital and just sentiment all over the place during all of these years. But here we are. We're just still here at this very even level in a way that we've never seen this chart. Because look at last bull cycle. Typical bear market, parabolic, right? And then you can even go back to the cycle before that. Just kind of a bear market, parabolic. Well, now we have our bear market. Everybody was waiting for parabolic. We did not get it. And we have just continued just consolidation and coiling. Now, I want to say that in terms of what crypto is doing right now, this new crypto era, and the inflooding of capital, institutions, and finally a maturity of just certain top blue chip blockchains, something very special is getting ready to happen. And I could see no better foundation for the setup of this next bull market for these cryptos. But long story short, when you're looking at this chart and kind of all of this redistribution that has taken place and everything that's going on here, the story here, it's kind of like, at this stage, are you somebody that thinks it's game over for altcoins and it's just all going to fail and fall? Or are you somebody that sees the continuation, especially with things like Fed monetary pivot, M2 global liquidity, just continually increasing? Or are you somebody that thinks because of these things and because of this space growing and all of the capital flowing in, we're going to get a move? There's no telling when this is going to happen. But as I dive into kind of a couple altcoins analysis, Ethereum and Cardano, I do just want to set the tone here in terms of where we are in these cycles. What I want to point out to you on this chart is, in terms of the coiling, what I'm watching on this weekly chart is really these moving averages. Look how close they are together. So, and we're talking, we exit the bear, we get some separation between these moving averages here. And typically that's kind of the beginning of the bull market, really. And it just gets more and more separated. It gets crazy parabolic, and then the top is in. This has not happened. We've kind of started to get a move and then consolidation right back in. Started to get a move, consolidation right back in. So when I'm saying consolidation and coiling, that's what I'm talking about. These moving averages are just a very nice picture of that. Last cycle, that did not happen. We simply exited the bear market, and there's that separation of all the moving averages. You can see them all separated, and then boom, it's time to all consolidate into a bear market. Well, we are at a foundation right now for altcoins. And when it comes to certain signals, we can find some on these altcoin market cap charts. But what I want to do is I want to use the weekly Ethereum chart because I've been talking a lot about this lately. If we're looking at the Ethereum chart right now, what I've been doing, and many of you know if you've been watching my videos, we got this breakout back here. I've been just talking nonstop about the potential for the pullback. We got it, right? It is what it is. We're at resistance, which is normal. I'm sitting here just waiting, and I haven't been just waiting for Ethereum to break back in. It's going to be a big move. and an important move. But today, what I just spotted, it's actually going to be a very important move. But what I've been watching and waiting for is the move to happen. But I've been really just kind of like, can we break the upper end of the apex and the upper end of the triangle? That's important as well. But I'm actually saying right now, and I'm going to show you why, I think this break, when Ethereum breaks this area, now confluent with the 50-week moving average, I think that is a bigger signal than actually when it even breaks here. Let me explain why that is. So if we look at Ethereum, right, on the zoomed out, I was just noticing something. We're waiting for kind of this multi-year pattern breakout to the upside, really, this triangle. And I was looking at last cycle, and it occurred to me, this lower trend line that we're tracking on Ethereum it's not only a multi-year, this cycle trend line. If we bring this back and extend it, this is a multi-cycle trend line. This trend line is insanely useful in terms of waiting for a macro signal to occur. And the macro signal has been occurring, which is to say bouncing on it for support. Those signals have been occurring. Now that we have the break to the downside and we're testing it to the upside right now at this moment, now we're kind of in this territory. So last cycle, when Ethereum was testing the bottom, testing this trend line, right? Resistance, and then this move happened. Guess what? That was the beginning of altcoin season. That was the beginning of the bull market for altcoins. And right now, Ethereum is testing that trend line once again. This trend line is so important to me. Now, what becomes more interesting to me as we start bringing in and involving other data, I just really quickly want to go to our risk model for Ethereum over here. And again, go to the risk heat map. Look at Ethereum. The bull market, if you just look at our heat map, the bull market for Ethereum has not occurred. And not only that, and I know I've been mentioning this, but Ethereum's still, it's at a moderate buy at 38 risk score. But what I want to point out to you is if you go back to November 2020, check it out. Ethereum, this is right before its bull market, right before it broke that trend line that we were just looking at, November 2020, the risk score was 48. But you can just see it was just in that cooler color, just getting ready for the bull market. So this risk model is very nicely tuned into what Ethereum is doing on this chart. I don't know if Ethereum is going to break this trend line, but I do know right now, this is a very short-term signal. It's a macro multi-cycle trend line. So basically, to put it very simply, we've waited cycles for this to even happen, right? For us to get to this moment that is pretty important for Ethereum. But right now, in the short term, this is a short-term thing. Ethereum can break this tonight. We can start breaking this trend line tonight. It's just $2,700, and then the 50-week moving average around 27.28. This move is something that Ethereum can do very quickly. But let's please be aware of the resistance, and the resistance is of no surprise. We've tracked and waited for the exact pullback to the triangle that's happening now. It's no surprise we're getting resistance. So this is such a short-term, powerful signal for altcoin holders. And this is probably one of the biggest things that I'm tracking right now, really. And this is what I'll be watching every day. What's Ethereum doing here? How does this weekly candle close? 3 days, 23 hours. This is massive for altcoins. So speaking of altcoins, we can go look at ADA. I wanted to mention something on the ADA monthly chart. It's just another, you notice one thing on all of these charts. And by the way, Bitcoin is coiling. Bitcoin's broken all-time highs, and it's doing something it's never done after that. And that is to say, it's consolidating like crazy, right? It's coiling like crazy if you go look at the charts on Bitcoin. Well, everything's doing that. ADA's doing that in a very, I would say, more healthy way than how it was consolidating even before ADA's last bull cycle. Exiting the bear market, one dip, boom, parabolic. Now, this is just coiling. And I have the MACD up on Cardano because this is a very nice picture of kind of the fake out for altcoin holders, right? Meaning we kind of exited that last bear market, and you can just see this MACD just starting trending up, and then it's bull market starting. I think back in October, November, at least for myself, I thought maybe this was the beginning of that move, right? Boom. But no, we're just getting continued on this monthly, little bit of a pump, consolidate, pump, consolidate. But I want to point out to you on the monthly chart on ADA where we are, right? This MACD histogram is kind of resetting a little bit, just a cooler color green. But just notice where it was last cycle before the bull run. Cooler color green, and then it just exploded, right? So right now, the MACD, and you can see this blue line here, the MACD line, there's a signal line. It has a complete bull market upside. It has so much room, so much space for bull market. And that's what Cardano, ADA holders are waiting for. This could continue, right? We might just see the MACD consolidate and the histogram. Maybe it turns red. I really don't know what's going to happen on this chart. But what I do know is, as far as altcoins, we've already kind of visited this. It's healthy, and it's healthy for Cardano as well. So going over to the daily chart, I did want to just kind of mention a couple of things on the short term. You can see on the daily chart, and this is just something to watch in the short term if you're somebody that's watching Cardano. Right now, we are contesting between key moving averages. So if you want to get a sense of what direction we're going to see Cardano go now or next, just watch these shorter term moving averages. It's very simple. We still have, in terms of downside potential, if Bitcoin's going to fall and crypto just starts falling, swing low to swing high, well, we have the Fibonacci down here, 64 to 58 cents. I don't like saying it, but it's in play. But alternatively, breakout to the upside. If we break this 200-day moving average and actually start getting a move of higher highs and higher lows out of this kind of higher high and higher low consolidation, I mean, the next target for ADA really is the kind of dollar range up here, testing this previous swing high and really just testing all of these previous swing highs. That becomes very important when we go to something like the weekly chart, because as you know, on the weekly, if we go here, we are waiting to break out of the red area, the bull market doors for ADA. Notice on the weekly chart, if ADA on that daily does get some breakout potential to the upside, we'll be getting separation from this 20-week moving average, which is much needed this week. Awesome to see support above that 200-week moving average, the bottom of the bull market doors. It's great to see that we're above that, but we really want to get above all these moving averages, that 20-week moving average, almost exactly where ADA is right now. So if ADA can make that move on the daily, important things will be happening on this weekly chart. And the reason why that's so important is because if we're all waiting for a bull market, guess what? Bull markets are made of the assets, in this case, ADA, breaking the 20-week moving average and being above those moving averages that you see there. So that's what I'm watching on ADA on the weekly, the daily, the monthly. But this is really what I'm watching for all altcoins. None of us know what's going to happen next, everybody. But I do know one thing. I'm very bullish on this crypto space. And I think this has just been a very long, patient process of just redistribution, preparation. You know, institutions are trying to get into altcoins as well. And I think this just requires patience. So these are my thoughts today for altcoins as we kind of wait to see what they do as Bitcoin's just cruising towards, you know, all-time highs over and over again, hanging out around $110,000. $110,000 Bitcoin. And I don't even see much hype out there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, everybody. I appreciate you cruising through. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.